fundamental questions of navigation. Where am I? Where am I going? And how do I get there from here?
I invite the leaders of our planet to ask themselves these three questions before they make any crucial decisions.
But if you don't make decisions, you're going to stay right where you are.
We are all map makers.
We are in a time of transition.
If we're going to change, we have to change the direction that we're going.
Our planet needs leaders who know where they want to go.
When we change the direction we're going, then we want to make sure we're going in the right direction.
Leaders who can see the big picture.
Because if we're not, we're going to either go backwards or we're going to stay where we are.
Recognizing the psychological and the spiritual shifts and changes that need to be made, often from the inside to the outside.
To be able to shape your future, you have to be willing and able to change your paradigm.
Complex journeys require navigation. The path to the truth is one such journey. This is your GPS. Hairstyling services provided by J.D. Edwards Salon and Spa, Palmdale Shopping Plaza, Madera Street. Accessories provided by Chevette Williamson Jewelry. Standout jewelry for standout women. I'm Michelle Malcolm, and as always, it's a pleasure to be in your company today. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I do apologize for the late start. So we're going to dive right into it. Today is Friday, so you know what that means. It's a TGIF. Thank God it's Friday. And every Friday we do an open line show where we talk about the week that was and allow you to get off your mind or get off your chest, whatever's on your mind. That's what we say. So we have quite a bit to talk about today. Boy, hasn't it been an interesting week? All kinds of interesting revelations coming out of the Auditor General's report. And, some people are saying, y'all are focusing on the wrong stuff. And y'all are trying to make somebody look bad. And you need to focus on some other things. And, very interesting revelations indeed. So before we dive into that and anything else that you guys want to talk about today, let me throw out the telephone numbers: 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0271, or 326-0272, 326-0272. And the WhatsApp number is 824-9952. 824-9952 is the WhatsApp number. So the very first clip I want to play, started to allude to it, new revelations coming in from the Auditor General's report about what the Auditor General described as, he's saying that there's some things that that took place as it relates to that relationship between the Ministry of Tourism and Aviation and Canoe, which was the company that was used to collect the funds, you may recall, from the Bahamas travel visa. And there were some things that apparently happened that were not, from the Auditor General's viewpoint, in keeping with the norm. Let's go to clip number one, courtesy of...
According to the Auditor General's report, 4 companies were contracted for the travel visa program, but only 3 signed actual agreements. The report indicated that there was never a contract signed with Canoe. It also states that the opening of the bank account with Canoe at the Bank of the Bahamas is in violation of the Financial Administration and Audit Act 2010, which states that no person shall open an account with respect of public monies with any bank without the written approval of the Minister of Finance. Also, the Government Accounting Manual, which states that the Treasurer must submit to the Minister of Finance a request to approve the opening of the bank account, noting that only the Minister of Finance has the authority to open an account on the government's behalf. The report states that a request was made for such evidence of that approval, but no documentation was ever provided. Instead, the ministry defended its decision, referencing the Promotion of Tourism Act, Section 3, which empowers the Minister of Tourism to enter into and make such contracts as the minister may deem necessary, further stating that the Ministry of Tourism is a corporate sole and as such has always operated accounts into which receipts were deposited and from which disbursements were made using its long-established system of internal controls for paying vendors. The report also noted an excessive time lapse between the revenue collections and accounting for monies in the Treasury. While the Ministry of Tourism recorded a revenue of $34,442,104.47 for the period November 2020 to August 2021, the Treasury Management Statement recorded $34,420,716.08, more than $21,000 short of government's claimed revenue. There was also inconsistency with monies deposited into the consolidated fund by some $23,954.99.
Now, Janaea, we did contact the Attorney General Ryan Pinder on the issue, and he said while the Davis administration has no intentions at this time on charging anyone, that could change after the current forensic audit is completed. We also got a chance to speak to the Deputy Prime Minister and now Minister of Tourism, Chester Cooper, who said he spoke with tourism officials and he is satisfied with the response given from them, as they claim that drastic times called for drastic measures.
Thanks so much, Arjanelle Longley, joining us live in studio tonight. For more on this story, you can log on to our website, ewnews.com.
So that was the report from Eyewitness News that laid out the Auditor General's findings as it relates to Canoe, and saying that, there's no contract in place. And the Auditor General also found that it took about 6 months, I believe, for
the funds once collected by Canoe to actually make it into the Treasury, and all kinds of stuff. And so they also reached out to the Eyewitness News also reached out to the former Minister of Tourism, Dionisio de Aguilar, to get some comments from him as to what the Auditor General had to say in his report. And he got a bit defensive in his response. Let's go to, is that a caller on the, what? Pardon me? Okay, so let's go to the clip with De Aguilar.
Canoe made up 1.3% of the expenses. Really? Why are we focused on 1.3 of the expenses? What about 98.3% of the expenses? You're focusing on this tiny amount.
Former Tourism Minister Dionisio de Aguilar on the defense after an audit into the travel health visa program was tabled on Wednesday in the House of Assembly. The former Freetown Member of Parliament says it's all a political tirade to stain the former administration's reputation, but in actuality, he argues that it was able to help in the reopening of the country's borders.
They're trying to find little things that, when you start a program from scratch, you don't get it perfectly right coming out of the gate. But if you look on the balance of things, it is a fairly successful program. You know what's vindication of that? They continue to use it.
The audit highlighted that Canoe unlawfully opened a bank account at the Bank of the Bahamas on behalf of the Ministry of Tourism. However, the former minister says they were well within their rights under the Promotion of Tourism Act, as it was needed for the sector's rebound.
So there's a bit of a conflict there. And yes, the Ministry of Tourism interpreted it one way, and the Ministry of Finance and the Auditor General interpreted it another way. So I agree there's confusion, so they should bring some clarity to it. Maybe the mechanics on how we got there weren't in the minds of the Auditor General perfectly by the books, but The system worked well.
Diagler also clarifying the claim that there was an excessive time lapse between revenue collections and accounting, and that there were inconsistencies with funds deposited into the consolidated fund.
And while they will say, yes, the money was late coming to the to the Treasury, what the most important thing that they didn't say was that all of the money made it to the Ministry of Finance. And albeit it was late to begin with, because we were focused on the customer experience and making sure that that worked properly. And then we brought focus to the accounting and the administration of the visa, and we caught up. But nowhere in that report do they make any mention of any money but going missing.
When it comes to the auditors finding that to date there is no formal contract signed between Canoe and the government for services being rendered, Diagler says that's something the technical and administrative staff of the ministry had oversight for. He denied that aspect being in his purview.
Okay, very, very interesting. I'd like to hear your thoughts on it, whether or not you think
that there is cause for concern about the irregularities, the fact that there is no existing contract, the fact that the Auditor General is suggesting that perhaps something may have been done illegally. And I hear what Diagler had to say as it relates to, desperate times calls for desperate measures, and you had to do what you had to do, and at least the money made it into the Treasury, albeit 6 months late, but at least it made it there. What are your thoughts on that? The Prime Minister, Davis, has indicated that there are some things in the Auditor General's report that are sort of raising eyebrows and that further investigations are going to continue. Do you believe that this is nothing more than a political, witch hunt, for want of a better word, the PLP trying to make the FNM look bad? Or do you believe that there is cause for concern the way that this was handled? And, I asked that question in the context that there obviously are other things that are coming out in the Auditor General's report about the way that, for instance, the DRA was handled. That has obviously raised questions. And so now we hear this, and you have to, well, you don't have to, but do you wonder what else is coming next based on all of these revelations? What are your thoughts? I'd love to hear from you. The telephone number is again 326-0271, 326-0271, or 326-0272, 326-0272, and the WhatsApp number 824-9952, 824-9952. Now, the first question I have is, why is there no contract? Why, if there were other companies that went through the right channels and did it the right way, why was Canoe exempted from that? Why did they not follow the procedures like the other companies did? So how is it that only based on a verbal agreement that they were able to get this contract? And I can't, like I said, there's no written contract in place. At least none has been produced. So what is it so special about Canoe? And I hear what Diagler said in terms of, with desperate times, but yeah, even if you decided to enter into this agreement with this company to do this thing only by a verbal agreement, which in itself is unusual, especially when you're talking about the amount of money that passed through there, you didn't have enough time after you all set it up to do the proper paperwork. And when I say you, I don't mean him specifically, because he's saying that did not fall to him, that was for the technical people in the Ministry of Tourism to handle, and obviously they didn't. So nobody at any point thought, well, okay, so we got this started wrong, but let's at least correct it and get the proper paperwork. And at no point was that happening. What makes Canoe so special that they get this apparent special treatment? Anybody could answer that for me? I'm just asking questions. Yeah, again, if I know that we are very divided in terms of our tribalism in this country. I support this party, so that's, no matter what they do or don't do, I can support them. But I want to ask all of you who are saying that this is nothing more than the PLP's attempt to discredit the FNM. I want you to imagine that if I want you to imagine that it was the PLP that actually did this and not the F&M, would you still have the same viewpoint about the way this was handled if in fact it was the party that you do not support? Would you still say, oh, y'all making a big deal out of nothing? Or would you say, you see, this the PLP for you now? They're always trying to do something under the table. Always. What would your attitude be then? Would it be the same? And I want us to answer that question honestly. Because until we apply the same yardstick across the board, we will always have a problem. And this is what, people have been calling for as it relates to us really implementing the National Development Plan so that you catch these things early. You don't wait until after a particular government loses power and then another government comes in and tries to reveal all of what has been going on or all of what went down with that particular party. It's like you always playing a game of catch up. So, the question has to be raised, I believe. What is so special about Canoe that they were able to lock in this agreement only based on a conversation? And at no time did anybody think, okay, we didn't start it off right, but at least we got time now to correct it and put a proper contract in place. I mean, at no time that comes up, at no time. I find that very suspect. I have somebody who sent in a message via WhatsApp saying, Ms. Malcolm, someone is lying. Boy, things really come out when a party is voted out. Wow, we the public need to know what went down. And you would think that, when it was announced that this had been set up through Canoe, people were raising concerns then. People were making allegations then about who owns Canoe and the relationship between those owners and the progressive liberal, and the Free National Movement. People were making, I heard things. And so you would think that with all of that in the air, that an attempt would have been made to make it right. Y'all understand what I'm saying? Is it just me? Or is it that they never thought that this would come in to be made public? I'm just asking questions. Do you really believe that this should be, seen as just an attempt to discredit one party over the next? Or do you believe that something is wrong? The telephone number is 326-0271, 326-0271, 326-0271, or 326-0272, 326-0272. And the WhatsApp number is 824-9952, 824-9952. We're going to take a quick break and reset for our Facebook audience because I don't believe that we're streaming live there as yet. So we're going to fix that during this break. And then when we come back, we're going to continue on this open line show. TGIF. Thank God it's Friday, y'all. Let's talk about the week that was. We'll be back after these words from our sponsors.